Oh, hello there. Yes, well, there are certain signs that you're getting older. I think it was Jeremy Hardy who said that it's when you spend more time in the garden. Get up early in the morning because there's plenty of things to do in the garden. And, yes, walking past a shop and thinking, hey, that's a nice cardigan, which I do, I must admit. And then, of course, there is the generic wearing slippers, but I'm more of the opinion of Chumbawamba with... look both ways when crossing roads, don't wear slippers till you're old, never do what you are told, and loads of our commentariats of a certain boomer sensibility, yeah, a bit like you, a bit like me, a bit like them really, of course, have morphed as they got older into their own parents. One of the classic ones about that is scoffing at young people and their funny hair, ultimately. So yesterday we had Rafe Hadelmanku, perhaps inevitably, chatting to our Kev about the disgusting punk rock duo from Brighton. Yes, are you a punk rocker? I remember a teacher once saying that to me when I was 14. Didn't really know what to answer, actually, but anyway, yes. Who have been given government money, even though they don't like the monarchy. And of course, it was dreadful that these people are given government money, even though they don't like the money, even though they don't like the monarchy. Yeah, it's not said how much they're given. I reckon it's about 500 quid. Still, you can froth at the mouth at the punk rock duo, can't you? But of course, the whole thing about this is surely Rafe would be in favour of free speech, which must include naturally an ability to, perhaps not being fawning about the king. And about an hour later, he posted this, okay, complaining about an Australian, but nevertheless, it definitely applies here. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Multiculturalism and free speech are incompatible. Governments know multiculturalism can only survive if reality is covered up and public resentment is silenced. Might come on to that concept in a short while. Immigration is the key reason for the West's 20-year erosion of free speech. Yes, so the thing is you can have free speech, right, okay, but not with multiculturalism. And then you might think to yourself, but surely Rafe has just said that there can't be, free speech for some people. And indeed, he is a fine example of multicultural Britain, proving his point, I do believe, yes. Anyway, moving on, of course, to multiculturalism and its dangers, we did have an ongoing thing yesterday about J.D. Vance and slagging off Britain and multiculturalism and immigrants and everything, yes? So, here's from the Telegraph. Britain is stagnating because of immigration. US Vice President says West got lazy by using cheap labour as substitute for productivity. And of course, the thing about J.D. Vance is, well, he's got a wife and kids. And he's got a wife and kids that, have a certain look to them, one might say. They are here. His wife is from the Indian subcontinent and his children are, therefore, of mixed Indian subcontinent and hillbilly DNA. Yes, so what's going on there then? There's a fine example of multiculturalism gone bad, presumably, or indeed perhaps, importing cheap labour from abroad, insert your own joke there, and the very, very, very kind of vaguely sexist notion. Yes, but of course the reality is that there are different rules for different people. Different rules for a punk rock duo from Brighton, different rules for Rafe, and definitely different rules for an elite ruling class who can basically use their class position to completely ignore levels of racism. Because after all, J.D. Vance wouldn't stand for any racism against his wife. It's all the other people, the scummy poor people's wives. They deserve it, don't they? Yes. Which is why perhaps we have this whole sort of hoo-ha thing going on the right at the moment. And we had the gorgeous Alex Phillips writing about it, which I think yesterday took the biscuit for me. In recent weeks, I've noticed a rapid splintering of the right. So rapid, it simply cannot be organic. Yes, indeed. You know the way that all of the right-wingers agree with themselves all the time. It's why the Reform Party hasn't split off from the Conservative Party in any way, shape or form. Mind you, they do, don't they? They do tend to all clump together, and they all have that, those brilliant ideas on the economy, which are tax cuts for the rich, or lower tax for the rich, or if you want to be a radical outsider, yeah, I've mentioned tax cuts for the rich. That's it, isn't it? They all come out with the same thing all the time. But the whole Rupert Lowe thing with reform, of course, has exposed a real nasty underbelly, in the sense that people like Alex Phillips have been used to running the roost in terms of having a neatly constrained level of racism that they can direct against, well, just vaguely people that vaguely we should get rid of, vaguely, but we're not vaguely going to do anything more about it than that. And of course, there are those people that, for example, many of whom I think will start to question about whether or not they're actually going to vote for actual reform in actual May, who are thinking to themselves, well, no, I thought we were going to be given deportations. Anyway, carrying on with Alex, a ridiculous race to absolutism, goading Brexiteers and patriots to cannibalise. Who does that benefit? I don't know. Perhaps you can only think of Russia. Perhaps you think only Russia does bot farms. Huh? Okay. Unseen forces at work. Ooh, don't be part of their plan, yes. And of course, Alex would know all about bot farms and things like that because, she definitely wasn't involved in anything like that whatsoever during Brexit and Cambridge Analytica. Don't ask her about that. But she wouldn't know, or she does know, but it's only bad people that do that. They wouldn't do it on behalf of the good people. But what I'm getting at here, you see, is this whole thing about, the elites, the real elites, the actual elites, not the Gary Linekers of the world, but the people that actually do run everything, because they are more than happy to have simmering resentment at the bottom in terms of racism, which can never be properly quelled, but it has to be constrained. And unfortunately with this one, it isn't going to happen. It isn't going to happen. And as ever, they will find themselves comprehensively outmaneuvered on the right. It's an ongoing Kelly J. Keane, Posey Parker being an ultra compared to all the other kind of whimsical Graham Linehans. Yes, I know. Odd, isn't it, that he's one of the moderates of that lot. Anyway, yes. That was yesterday, wasn't it? Another question for you is, of course, which is stunning me yesterday, was, are there no other qualified teachers than Catherine Bersingler who are prepared to come out with right-wing views? Because I cannot recall at all seeing any other teacher in the media other than her. Yeah, when we hear from the media about, oh well, teachers think this and teachers think that, there's always her, singular. On its own, yeah? I mean, ex-Tory MPs that can't get a job don't count, I'm afraid. No, sorry. So, where are all these right-wing reasonable teachers? Or maybe they don't exist. Maybe it's true that we have, in fact, all got together unanimously. Ooh, agreed. Them, the bots, they're at it. Ooh, or maybe not. Maybe it is just her. Anyway, do have a glorious day. Do remember, keep the racism at acceptable levels that reform feels it can successfully utilise to make sure that their class are in the correct position to utilise their power for their tax cuts. Yeah, I've said it. See, I am on board, Alex. I really do know what I need to do. Have a... Well, I don't know, towards the weekend once again. It feels that my life is galloping away with me, but that's because I'm teaching way too much maths at the moment. And it does lead me to, well, wake up dribbling, metaphorically or otherwise. Enjoy.